Today in the crypto space, we see the market taking a bit of a dip, Bitcoin down approximately 2.5%, give or take, and Ethereum down approximately 3.5%, give or take. Of course, guys, these two heavyweights are definitely drawing out that liquidity in the market, and we see some of these altcoins also dipping down to those lower levels. In today's video, I want to talk about the general market. I want to use Bitcoin as a leading indicator, but more importantly, I want to talk about one altcoin that has been bullish that a lot of people are interested in. However, it did retrace and hit some good levels of support. So you know what? Let's talk about the news, let's analyze the charts, and let's strategize to capitalize. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mike, and let's get right into it, guys. If you're new to the channel, welcome. On the channel, we talk about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the altcoins. Looking for opportunities, whether we go up or down, bearish or bullish, all we want to do is stay one step ahead of the market so that we can capitalize on any of that volatility. And if you appreciate the strategy, subscribe to the channel, click the bell so you don't miss out on any of my future videos, including the live streams at 7:30 Eastern, where we talk about crypto news and price action. Guys, if you have any projects that you want me to cover here on the channel, feel free to let me know in the comment section below. You can hit me up on the socials. The links are in the description, but better yet, join that Discord, guys. Great community. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and all that good stuff. All right, let's begin. Today's video is all about Dimitra. Dimitra is a project that many individuals were talking about. A lot of good bullish sentiment. You know, the fundamentals were decent. I did do a deep dive on Dimitra, so go check that one out. In fact, I do deep dives every Sunday. I release a deep dive, and the previous deep dive, the one that I just released, is on GFAL. If you missed that one, go check it out. I think that everybody that is interested in buying into gains for a living needs to do a deep dive. And guess what? I did it for you. So go check it out. It's there, posted. Lots of good alpha, lots of good information there for making good decisions. All right, let's begin looking at this general market, and then we'll take a look at Bitcoin, and of course we'll start looking at Dimitra. Could we be in a great opportunity to be buying the dip on Dimitra? So we see Bitcoin coming down, guys. You know, unfortunately, you know, Bitcoin came down. Of course it's always unfortunate to see those dips, but we got to really look at it as a positive thing, because if we don't, that means that we're not ready. That means we're overexposed. If right now you are hurting and you are not happy with this dip, you know, better yet, if you're not okay with this dip, that means that you're overexposed. That means you weren't prepared, and unfortunately you're not doing it right. People that are doing it right now are happy about this dip and are happy if it rallies. Either way, up or down, you want to make sure that you are happy either way, because that means that if you're buying the dip, you want lower levels. That means if the price action is nice and high, you're ready to take those profits. So obviously right now we have a different lens on. Our lens right now should be getting into a bullish stance, looking for the opportunity to buy in. Bitcoin hitting those levels, hit a good level of horizontal support. I'm wondering if it's going to hold that support. Of course, we'll take a look at Bitcoin. Ethereum also dumping down to lower levels. Not a huge dip, but definitely coming down. BNB coming down approximately 3%, and the list goes on. Everything is looking red, a little bit slumpy, you know, not looking so good, reaching down to those lower levels, and you know the speech, right? At the end of the day, right now, guys, this is the time to be looking for buy opportunities. If you have been doing your fundamental research, if you've been have your eye on any project, right now is the time to come up with that plan and perhaps start DCing, right? It's only about 3%, give or take, on these altcoins. Okay, let's be real. It's not a huge dump. It's not a huge opportunity. It's only about 3%. My fear is what's yet to come. Could this be the beginning, right? And if it does come down to lower levels, if it does continue down, we have to make sure as responsible traders that we do have some capital, that we do have the dry powder to deploy at those lower levels if the projects or if the price does come down. Okay, so let's be prepared for that, of course. H-bar coming down, Quant obviously coming down below that $100 level at $92, guys. It's been a while since we've seen Quant at 92. You know, bearish targets are definitely in the 70s and so on. So guys, we'll keep an eye on Quant, of course. Filecoin coming down, and many altcoins coming down. Near Protocol, Arbitrum, wow, Rocket Pool. Guys, Caspa's going sideways. Caspa's holding up, looking strong. 20% in the last 7 days, meaning 20% up in 7 days, and still going sideways, guys. That is a sign of bullishness. We got to be real with what's happening here with Kaspa. If Kaspa continues going sideways as the rest of the market comes down, and the rest of the market fully resets its momentum, and so does Kaspa while it goes sideways, we can anticipate that Kaspa is going to do a very strong thing once the momentum does fully reset. So of course, we'll take a look at Kaspa tonight in tonight's live stream. I was going to do a dedicated video on Kaspa, but you know what? I wanted to do a Dimitra update. We can do another one, dedicated video on Kaspa another day. But Kaspa definitely on my radar. I'm definitely taking a look at Kaspa, and tonight we'll definitely look at Kaspa's chart. And if you have any other projects, feel free to join, guys, because it's a great place to discuss charts as a community. All right, let's continue. Aave coming down to lower levels. Many projects coming down. Do we have any other opportunities? BitGet holding strong. Radix dipping down to those lower levels. Of course, Radix got a nice little relief to the upside in the last little while, but dipping down to where it came from, guys. This is the thing. In a bear market, transitionary phase into the bull market, this is what you can expect. Deep retracements. That's why it goes sideways, because the retracements are deep. So the list goes on. We do have many opportunities. I would say about 3 to 4%, give or take. There's some 5%ers here and there, but 3 to 4% dips across the board is not bad. It's pretty healthy. You know, here on the channel, I look for double digits. I look for double-digit gains, and that means that I'm going to be looking for double-digit dips. And right now, we're not really getting that just yet, so we got to be very patient. And we do have Rollbit rolling down, never mind, down 20%, down 34%, 35% in the last 7 days, guys. Could this be the opportunity? Obviously, before you scale in, go check out those socials. Make sure Rollbit is on point. Make sure there's no FUD or, you know, anything happening as far as an exploit or anything like that. And if the fundamentals are still holding up, it may be an opportunity to get in an undervalued scenario here on Rollbit. It did dip down significantly. Now, personally, I'm not into the narrative, the whole gambling narrative, but nonetheless, I know there's a lot of you out there that are interested. And guys, this is the fire sale. Now, the question is, are the fundamentals holding up to support this price? So this is what we got to take a look at. Rollbit. Maybe we can take a look at Rollbit tonight as well. RLB is the ticker. RLB. Let me write that down. And of course, guys, if you make any requests, I'll put them in top priority. Let's begin here. What else do we have? BTT dipping down. A lot of these projects are coming down to lower levels. Trust Wallet getting a nice bounce. A nice bounce for Trust Wallet. Up 8%. I wonder what's happening there. You know, going against the grain just a bit here, you know, coming down to lower levels and then getting back to right where it came from is a sign of bullishness in my book. So looking pretty good for Trust Wallet altogether. But nonetheless, guys, we do have Kaspa holding sideways. We have KuCoin and some of these exchange tokens going a bit sideways. And overall, guys, you know, what else? Render's looking okay. It kind of dipped down, but still kind of going sideways. Still holding at about $1.40. But if it's not for those, the rest of the market is pretty red. Okay, guys, so we're going to keep an eye on it. We're going to see what's happening. If Bitcoin keeps on coming down, expect everything to keep on coming down, even the ones that are still going sideways. I don't think they're going to be able to withstand Bitcoin's, you know, basically Bitcoin's position coming down to lower levels. All right, guys, I know you're here to talk about charts. Let's begin looking at Bitcoin. Let's take a look at this Bitcoin price to see exactly what's happening and what has been happening in the last little while. In the last 24 hours, we see the price pushing down to lower levels. In fact, we broke down below this level of support on the daily, and the momentum is still upward sloping as we speak. So that is still a very strong indication that we are getting some sort of divergence in the immediate short term. So let's prepare. We see that momentum definitely still trekking to the upside. Momentum did not create a lower low or did not really do much or anything significant to be worried about. As long as this momentum on the RSI, let me zoom in here so you can see what I'm talking about. You can see as long as this momentum on the RSI is still upward sloping, I'm happy. That means that the momentum to the upside is still very possible. We should eventually get a back test here and a higher low on the RSI. So keeping it upward sloping while the price action now is obviously downward sloping, which means that we do have class A bullish divergence and at good levels of support. Now, what I mean by that is let's look at the price action first. You can see we have a top, we have a bottom. perfect level of support for potential bounce, and for a potential support level to get a bounce off of. So looking pretty good. We have the bottom of the volume gap. Yes, we did fill in this volume gap just a little bit as we consolidated within the volume gap, but we are now at the bottom of the volume gap. Guys, I just wanted you to reflect on the fact that last time we were talking about Bitcoin, which is pretty much the last video, you can see that I wasn't convinced, and the reason being is we were getting class A bearish divergence. I was waiting for this back test. I didn't like the fact that we didn't get support on this horizontal. Now that we're there, we have a strong argument to potentially get into a long position for a short-term bounce. Okay, this is the reality now. This is where, in fact, you have to come out with some conviction. Now, if Bitcoin does break down from here, it's not looking good. Obviously, it's not looking good, but we are hitting some good levels of horizontal support. If you were going to take a bit of risk, now is the time to potentially get into that scenario. When we were going sideways here, I was very clear that I wasn't interested, because at the end of the day, I was waiting for this back test. I was waiting for this confirmation. I was waiting for it to show me some support at horizontals, and we are potentially getting that right now. So we got to pay attention here. If we get a reaction, we get some sort of a quick buy up, we get a nice rounded bottom. If we get any sort of indication that maybe we're going to hold up at this horizontal, I would be happy to be buying the dip. But if we break down from here and we don't get support here, guys, not looking good. In fact, my whole strategy right now is depending on this support. We kind of want to see the momentum get a reaction and get Bitcoin back to about 27, at least to the top of the volume gap. And if that happens, guys, my strategy is still intact, given the fact that I waited for oversold conditions, I'm waiting for bullish divergence, I'm waiting for good horizontal support, and all these indications lead me to believe that it's time for Bitcoin to get a bit of relief to the upside. With that being said, how are altcoins going to perform in this case? It could be that altcoins get their season. The reality is, when Bitcoin goes sideways, which right now we are potentially getting some tops and bottoms, suggesting that we could be in a big picture range here for the next little while, a distribution range. When Bitcoin decides to bounce to the upside, we could see altcoins rally up and, in fact, outperform Bitcoin. Guys, we can get an altcoin season at any moment when we least expect it. We see the market do some crazy stuff. So this is the thing. Should we be buying the dip? Personally, I'm not really crazy about buying into Bitcoin currently. I'm going to be looking at altcoins. With that being said, let's take a look at Dimitra. DMTR is the ticker, guys. Dimitra did come down significantly. You can see that we did create that higher high here with that bearish divergence on these two tops. I took profit. This was the top profit taking zone. Okay, this was the time where you should have de-risked. Unfortunately, to be honest, it really was on that wick. If you weren't able to get out at this level, guys, this is the name of the game. You never always, you don't always get your bags filled, or your orders filled. And in this case, we did get a little bit of a retracement. I also had another zone to scale out even further at this level. So if you do a DCA in, you obviously want to DCA out. And this area, obviously, because it's so strong, because of the impulse to the upside, I would have been very aggressive of taking profit. Okay, very aggressive. A higher high, an exaggerated divergence for sure, a really higher high here on the price action, while the momentum slowly dripping down. We got the follow through, we did come down, we got a back test, got rejected on the 200 EMA, rejected on previous historical support, almost creating like a head and shoulders formation, and then breaking down to lower levels. And right now, as we speak, we are hitting those levels that I always watch out for, which are the volume gaps and horizontal levels of support, and my green arrows are definitely there ready to catch this price. Now, we are definitely in oversold scenarios here. You can see the RSI definitely in oversold, and with a divergence happening. We see that the RSI is definitely upward sloping. I have a spider line here because we don't know where we're going to get support on this little dip here on momentum. I'm expecting it to be a higher low. If it's a higher low, we have an upward trend here on the momentum, while the price action is still coming down. So for me, that is an opportunity to identify class A bullish divergence at horizontal levels of support. This is where things start to get interesting. Okay, let's reuse some of these lines. Now you can see that I was hypothetically looking at this opportunity as a potential scenario for a bounce. At this zone where we were entering here, we weren't oversold. We just kind of peaked in there, and not even got in. It kind of just spiked there, and that was it. Then as we got to the bottom of the volume gap, guys, we were basically in an oversold condition, and I was waiting for a back test. I was waiting for something like what Bitcoin is doing now, right? What many altcoins are right now, momentum wise, they're coming back down to check if the momentum is done, and that's what we're looking for. So if we get that higher low on the momentum, and the price action keeps on coming down and maybe get some support very soon, it could be an indication that we're ready to make a break to the upside and accumulate, right? So I'm going to kind of reuse these, and I'm going to reuse this one and kind of just make it clear that the trend is still down and we are currently at horizontal. What we really want to do right now at this horizontal is start creating some W, some inverse head and shoulders, some cup and handles, some Adam and Eve pattern, or something like that that can give us an indication that we are ready to hold support and break trend and eventually break some structure to the upside. We do have a bit of a volume gap right here, you can see, and I kind of do have to rearrange this chart because as time passed, you can see that this volume gap is still here. If we include, look at that. We include a little bit more and exclude a little bit, right? You can see that we start to build a scenario where we can start to build some confidence with these volume gaps. Right around this zone is what I'm interested in. Right in this impulse, you can see straight up price action, and then as we get here, it's pretty weak, but still a weak zone. So if we pop to the upside, it's very likely that we can swing right through and get to about $2.8 give or take, and that would be a interesting place to potentially take some profits if we do get some support. So I'm looking for support levels. Honestly, I'm looking for support levels, and of course, if we break down, guys, the next level is all the way down here. So this is why we should start DCAing. The good news right now is that you didn't buy the tops, right? You waited for a deep retracement. And what kind of retracement are we looking at? And this is all dependent on the fact that you're fundamentally bullish. Guys, if you're not, go do that research. Check out my deep dive on Dimitra. It's there. We are currently at the 886 retracement. Guys, this is a really good spot to start thinking about buying the dip. We are overbought. Oversold. We are at horizontal. We're at an 886 retracement, nice deep retracement. And at the end of the day, this is almost like the last line in the sand for Dimitra. If we come down lower, the next level is pretty much at previous lows, meaning at this cluster of supply and demand, at this price action, down here. So guys, this is it. If we start going sideways, we start showing some support, we can put a nice tight stop loss, wait for that bounce, and get a bit of a bounce to the upside. And that's when we're going to have to take a different position and start taking profit. Right now, the daily is looking like it wants to drip and maybe go sideways to show us some support. Let's see what's happening here on the 4-day. We're also oversold. So oversold on the daily, oversold on the 4-hour, which means that if we start showing signs of support here, you're getting in on a dip, on a real dip, both on momentum and both on price. Guys, this is an undervalued scenario. This is an oversold scenario. And of course, if you want to get in at a good level where you're getting a good value, this is the time. And you can see it's almost like a double bottom here on the 4-hour. It's not like a crazy dip. This bottom right now is looking like it wants to hold support. It does definitely want to do that. Now we got to look at Bitcoin. If Bitcoin keeps on bleeding out, it may be the case that Dimitra comes down to the bottom of the volume gap. And that, again, is another area to watch out for. Now, we can use extension levels. We can try to look for extension levels, swing low to swing high, and we get the high. And you can see the 1.27, the golden pocket 1.618 extension is quite confluent with the bottom of the volume gap. So it's very possible that we kind of get another leg to the downside and then maybe go sideways for the next little while for some support. So this is what we got to do. We got to anticipate the worst, hope for the best. DCAing right now, DCA it a little bit more at lower levels, reserve some capital to buy the dip and then stop, and then wait to see what happens. Buy the dip, and then stop. And then if we keep on breaking down, that will be a very unfortunate thing, because I do feel that the market does need a bit of relief to the upside once we see these momentum indicators, hold some support and price action hold some support. All right, guys. Thank you for stopping by. I'm live tonight at 7:30 Eastern. Feel free to join. Of course, if you have any projects you want me to cover, that is the greatest place and time to actually request some charts, and I'll definitely pull up a chart so that we can basically make a plan going forward to try to stay one step ahead of the market. If you want to follow me on the socials, feel free to join. The links are in the description below. The Discord is a great opportunity, guys. Go check it out. All right, guys, take care. Have a good one. And don't forget, buy the dip.